Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this image and we've got a Chroma background, green screen background, and um, we're going to put a different background on instead. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make this background layer into a normal layer, and the quick way of doing that is holding down the Alt key, double clicking on the layer, and it then becomes layer 0. Now I've got an image already open here. Why, that's a handsome fellow. I'm going to select this background layer and copy it. That's the same image size, so I'm going to paste it in. Obviously that's going to go over the original layer. I'll swap these layers around by dragging the first layer over to the top. So now we have the true background layer we want to end up with. Right, so the next thing to do is we need to get rid of the screen background on this layer here. So the way we're going to do that is to go up to the select menu, and we're going to go down to select color range, and at this stage it may well be that this is this way around without the invert checkbox ticked. We're going to make sure that that's ticked, and then we're going to use this eyedrop tool thing to select a color. You can see that the image reflects the color range selected, so I think we've got quite a good green there. There's a few bits of green around this hair. Now we can tweak the fuzziness here to maybe get rid of some of that without losing too much of the image of the hair. What we find is we get some of that green and mixed in with the hair. We're going to deal with that in a bit. You don't want to take off too much here with fuzziness, because if you do, you lose. You end up with some of the detail looking a bit jagged. So let's go a little bit easy on that. I think that's alright. We're going to deal with that green in a bit, like I say, so we'll go with that. So we select OK, and it's now going to make that a selection. So having got this selection, we can now go down to this make a layer mask, add a layer mask tool. We're going to click on that, and you can see straight away that it's created our selection as a layer mask. At this stage we can go in and refine the layer mask if we want to. So a quick way of getting to edit this layer mask in the full sort of size of the image is to hold down the Alt key again and left click on the mask, and you can see here there's we got a bit of this this slightly different texture green came through. So if we want to be really fussy, we can get rid of that. The obvious way to do that would be to go in and select the paintbrush tool here. We could turn that flow right up, opacity and flow right up to 100, and go in and make sure we've got the layer mask selected. Then we can go in and fill in this stuff. Let's push that up a bit in size, otherwise it could take us all day. Let's knock that up to 400. Okay, we don't need to be too worried here about this. It's not. This is just a nicety. We'll deal with those edges in a second using a slightly different tool option. But there we go. We've got rid of a fair bit of that now. And the other thing we can use here is the dodge and burn tools. Now the burn tool darkens things and the dodge tool lightens things. So we can use this burn tool. Let's just check that the range is set to highlights at this stage. We've got a brush size of 65. Well, we might want to knock that up to 100, but it's best if you've got it with a fuzzy edge and you turn down the exposure a little bit, and then we can just go around some of these edges. Oops, that's a little bit too much. We can just go around some of this edge, and we don't need to worry about it going over the white too much. It's going to smooth things over. Actually, we won't do it down near the shirt, but it's more useful this really around the, keep messing this up, this is more useful around the hair, these kind of areas. You can just briefly go round and smooth it over a little bit. So that is quite useful around the hair part. It's actually a bit easy to see this if you click back onto the main image. So you just left click back onto the main image, single click back onto the mask, and you can still carry on. You're still working on the mask, but you're obviously you could see a bit more easily on the image itself. So there we go. We've got that's quite good. Now at this stage we can add an adjustment layer on top of this one here, and what we're going to do is turn down that green a little bit more, because you still see elements of it. It's quite faint on this image, but it's still there. So the way we do that is we add an adjustment layer. That's this tool here, and we're going to choose hue saturation. You might find it a bit easier to zoom in at this stage, so Control Plus is my favourite method of doing that. And what we can do here is we can just make sure we've got this selected correctly. This allows us to, if we use this tool here, this allows us to go straight into the image with a eyedropper thing, and left click on the color we want to change, and then we can actually drag the mouse left and right to change that color. You can see there it's changing the saturation. So if it starts off quite green, I mean, let's exaggerate the green there. You can see there's quite a lot of it. What we'll do is we'll turn that saturation. I'm just moving it. I'm just holding down the left mouse button and moving the mouse to the left, and you can see that it's going. It's just darkening that somewhat. So it's just toning down the green. If we want to, we can adjust it obviously manually here on this slider, but it doesn't need a lot. It wasn't too bad. Okay, so that looks quite natural now. I'm just going to Control 0 back to full size image. And at this stage I've found that it's quite useful to add an inner glow. So we've added, we're going to add an effects layer here, and obviously that's ridiculous at the moment because it's adding a yellow inner glow. I'm going to select, I'm going to change it from yellow, and I'm going to pick a dark color from up here on the image, and you can see straight away that that's, you could pick a light color, but that's too bright. Pick a dark color, and it just blends the edge of that hair in quite nicely. And that is the finished image. Simple as that.